appreciate everything you're doing with Profitly.
Awesome.
It's a really great tool to learn.
Been in the challenge for about 2 weeks.
Oh, cool. How's it going so far?
Pretty good.
Cool. Thanks,
Thanks,
man.
my teacher.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Without further ado, multi-millionaire trader Timothy Sykes.
Thanks. All right. Thank you, Harvard. I have to film this too because this is one of my life achievements. Everybody wave. Thank you, guys. Speaking at Harvard, I've already created a millionaire, and now I want to inspire you to show you what's possible. That's it. Thank you, guys, Harvard. I love it. So, you know, I have some interesting experiences over the course of my life. You can follow me on Instagram and YouTube. You can see a lot of my material possessions. I brought my Lamborghini and Porsche keys. I don't need them. I'm throwing them. Good catch. That's why he's a millionaire. Look at that. It's just like, but you know, I don't want to just talk about that stuff here. You know, showing my pictures on Instagram and videos on YouTube, that's the palette that I can work with there. You know, you have to try and inspire people to work hard, to study hard, to make a lot of money, to afford the things that you love. But you can't give, you know, 30-minute speeches on Instagram. It's 15 seconds. So this speech is going to be a little different than what you know me or you might know me on social media as, because I want to share some of the experiences that have really shaped my life. I've been very fortunate. I did take $12,000 roughly of my bar mitzvah gift money. I've turned it into nearly $4 million. Every single trade shown transparently on Profitly, so you can see exactly how to become a millionaire. I don't win every single time. I trade ugly penny stocks that's like featured in the movie Wolf of Wall Street. Who's seen Wolf of Wall Street? It's a good movie, you know? He trades all scams. To be clear, there are some penny stocks that are not scams. Penny stocks are just stocks trading under $5 a share or sometimes $1 a share. They're very speculative. They're very small companies. Usually they only have 1 or 2 products. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all scams. Some penny stocks can be bought. And I've made a lot of money buying good penny stocks. I made my first $1 million as a freshman in college, basically buying penny stocks back in 2000. But I don't want to just talk about the money. You know, the money's nice, but I think the lessons that I've learned in the past 15 years on this kind of wild adventure that I've had are relatable to everybody. And no matter what you want to do in life, no matter what your ambition is, I'm a walking, talking example that your dreams can come true if you persevere, if you work hard, and if you realize that what you might think is impossible is possible in today's world because of the internet, because of our society. You know, we're living in a very unique time, and a lot of us take it for granted. We complain about small things where if you look back at history, I mean, there were a lot of people that had a lot of problems for many centuries. The Middle Ages, I mean, the Romans, the war, dictators. We are in a free society where the poorest person can become the richest person and most powerful person if they work hard enough, if they want it bad enough. So just think about that for a second. You have to really just look at the world around you. I've been very fortunate to travel all over the world. I've been to over 90 countries now. I love traveling. That's one of my hobbies. And I met a lot of people, and people in many different circumstances. I know I have a lot of students here. How many Trading Challenge students do I have here? Thank you, guys. Yeah. Props to them. I have the Trading Challenge. Those are my most dedicated students because I just want to teach you everything that I know. You know, people who teach the stock market, it's a very kind of sketchy world where it's like, if you make a lot of money in the stock market, why do you want to tell other people? Why don't you just make the money and shut up and, you know, laugh your way to the bank? And because of this journey that I'll explain in a second, I realized that it's actually a lot more fulfilling to teach and to share your stories. If I make, you know, I made $16,000 on a trade the other day, that's fine. That's nice. That pays for a lot of stuff. But to share that trade live and to show people, to see exactly how I predicted it, because I sent out a video to my subscribers saying, here's what I think this stock will do. And the very next day, it did exactly that and more. I actually could have made 40,000, but I took my profits. But to be able to get emails from thousands of people saying, holy you were right. You know, I'm not psychic. I'm not lucky. It's skill that I've refined over 15 years. And I had very humble beginnings. My parents are here. Give them a big round of applause, my mom and dad. I'm from a small town, Orange, Connecticut. I actually went to Tufts University here, just a few miles away, freshman year. I got there because of tennis. And I played tennis for 10 years, pretty much every single day growing up, because I was taught to believe that, you know, if you had a good college education, you could get a good, secure job, you could be financially independent, you could be successful. You know, these are my Jewish roots. Ever since I was a baby, you know, like where you had the little things going above you, like I had like little $20 bills, and I was like, you know, that's the Jewish way. And I believe that. Unfortunately, and I say this, you know, kind of jokingly, I don't say anything that serious. But because I'm Jewish and I was playing sports, those two don't really mix. You know, you don't see that many, you know, LeBron is not Jewish. You don't have that many professional athletes. So my elbow actually gave out senior year of high school, and it was really traumatic for me because the only thing I had known at that time was playing tennis every single day, working hard, got to be the best tennis player so you can get the tennis scholarship, so you can get into the good college. I was already into Tufts University because of tennis, but then my elbow gave out and I had Tommy John surgery where they actually take something out of your other arm and put it in this arm. So I'm walking around like RoboCop with 2 casts, and I couldn't do anything. I'm already into college, early admission. So senior year of high school, my parents, in their wisdom, gave me roughly $12,000 of my bar mitzvah gift money to play around with in the stock market. They thought I would lose it all. They thought it would be tough love, like, oh, you'll learn the value of $1. Instead, after year 1, I turned it into roughly $120,000. And by the end of freshman year at college, I was up to $800,000. And for somebody like me who grew up middle class, $800,000 is a lot of money, especially in a year, basically, a year and a half. It was crazy. And I didn't know if I was lucky. I didn't know if I was skilled. I think I was definitely lucky, partially skilled, but I was in the right place at the right time. This was back in '99 and 2000 during the tech bubble, and I profited. I saw a pattern in the stock market, specifically penny stocks. I didn't want to be a penny stock trader. I didn't know even what penny stocks were. I just saw a pattern, and I went with it, basically buying penny stocks that were hyped up because I figured if internet companies like Netscape and Yahoo at the time were the 2 most valuable internet companies, were valued so highly and they don't really have that many revenues, then why can't you value, you know, a small speculative penny stock highly too? A company like NetTaxi. Who remembers NetTaxi? Yeah, there we go. We got one guy. You know, this was an old school internet company, and the penny stock soared because they put out some press releases saying, look, we could be like the next Netscape. And because Netscape didn't have that much business at the time, only hype and promises, NetTaxi, very similar name, sure, why not? And the stock surged. And that's how I turned basically 12,000 into 800,000. Then the stock market crashed. And most people who had similar kinds of gains like I did, you know, they lost all their money. I didn't. So what made me different from everybody else who was buying penny stocks or internet companies during the tech bubble? Discipline. Because while I was trading in the freshman dorm room, and I actually, Fire and Ice. Have you guys been to Fire and Ice? Yeah. I took the whole dorm out to dinner one time at Fire and Ice when I made $100,000 in a day. But when I did that, I always took profits because I always looked at everything as a gift. You know, whether I made $100,000 or $16,000, and to this day, I still look at everything as a gift. I try not to get too greedy. Yes, I have a Lamborghini. Yes, I have the Porsche and the mansion, and I love traveling. But I always try and live within my means and stay disciplined. The Wolf of Wall Street, you know, obviously he's a scam artist. He's not a good marketer. He runs Ponzi schemes. He's a career criminal. In case any of you guys want to learn marketing, he's not a marketer. If you want to learn how to be a criminal, I think he's your man. But if you want to learn to live within your means, even if you are making a lot of money, whether it's on apps or cars or stocks or anything, always kind of try and remember that there are a lot of people in history who have made a lot of money and a lot of people who have lost it by living beyond their means, by getting too greedy, by not appreciating every single dollar. So to this day, I have, you know, several millions of dollars in the bank, but I appreciate every single dollar. And I know it doesn't look like that on my social media, you know, I'm like bragging and stuff like that. But that's just to inspire people, because this is what I've also learned. While I appreciate the money, I appreciate the students even more. Making $100,000 in a day, taking the dorm out to Fire and Ice, that's fantastic. But my life achievement has been creating 2 millionaire students now. Michael Good and Tim Grattani. They both passed $1 million in profits with my teachings. When I crossed $1 million, I was 22. Best moment of my life. I was like, oh my God, I'm a millionaire. This is crazy. But to be able to pass down your expertise to others, that takes it to a whole nother level. You know, for many years, many people thought, I post YouTube videos, many people thought that I was just full of shit. They're like, oh yeah, another guy who claims he can make me a millionaire on the internet. And then, not one, but two of my students have done that, showing every single trade. Tim Grattani is actually up to $1.7 million in profits now in 3 years. He started with $1,500. So that has become the most fulfilling thing. And so while I keep making money, I'm up roughly 107% in 4 months in 2014 trading. I love it. But teaching, creating more millionaires, doing the impossible, challenging, accepted financial wisdom, where people think, oh, penny stocks, those are scams, it's sketchy, it's risky. I've heard every bad word in the book that you can think of with penny stocks, and yet for me, it's changed my life. For my top students, they've changed their lives using penny stocks. So there's a contradiction. The whole world hates on penny stocks, and yet some of us see these patterns that repeat again and again, and yes, we do see some scams too, but you see these patterns and you can see how to grow your account. So, I'm getting ahead of myself, but over the next few years and decades, I look forward to challenging the entire finance industry. It's a bold statement, but it's a very achievable task, because you have people who watch CNBC, you have people who watch Bloomberg, and they're not making money. You've been taught by financial media outlets that you have to care about breaking news, that you have to watch these stocks all the time, and it's stressful, like Alan said. I don't trade that much. I don't day trade every single day. I wait for the patterns and I try to bank, and I win roughly 75% of the time. It's not stressful at all. I get into online arguments a lot with people who doubt me, and I love it, and I can say whatever the I want because I know that my pattern works. So if you want to hate me, bring it on. Hate me. Michael Good, my first millionaire student, wrote a blog post about me saying Tim Sykes is full of shit. We went back and forth. You can Google this, and we went back and forth with like 80 comments. And he's like, okay, I'll give your DVDs a try. Another DVD salesman. That's what he's thinking. Surely enough, he watched the DVDs, he saw what I saw, and now he's a millionaire, multi-millionaire actually. And he actually helps me teach other students. So I like confrontation. I really do, because I know what I see. And a lot of you guys, no matter what field you're in, once you get experience, you start seeing how the world works. You start seeing what works. And I want you guys to have that confidence. When you see something, and if, respected wisdom is going against what you see happening, you can challenge that. A lot of people don't realize that the world is built on challenging accepted ideas, creating new ideas, refining the ideas, and changing the world. I have no great ambition that I'm going to change the whole world. I want to change the finance industry. I want to show how predictable penny stocks are, that you can buy them and you can short sell them. Yes, you can bet against scams. I'm actually talking to some TV producers right now, and part of what I'm talking about is teaching the people who were scammed by Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, teaching those people how to get back at those promoters who lie about penny stocks and say that this scam that they promote is a real company. And normal people, average people out there, can get back at promoters by betting against those scams and making money as the scams collapse. Because that's the beauty of my strategy. Unlike Google and Facebook and GE, I get questions every single day. Where is the stock market going? What is this happening? I don't know. I know what penny stocks are doing based on patterns and based on the fact that 99.99% of all penny stocks will go to zero in a few years. That's a huge advantage. So challenge accepted wisdom. Look for advantages like that. you know? If you're gonna trade the stock market and you're buying Facebook or Google, you don't know where they're gonna be in 5, 10, 20 years from now. You don't know which products are gonna take off. There could be a small startup like Instagram that's gonna take over and no one even knows about it right now. Be very careful. Challenge authority, especially in finance. There's a nasty fact out there, which many of you guys aren't in finance, but 90 to 95% of traders lose money. The vast majority of people who try to day trade lose money. And yet the industry is booming. You have brokers, you have news outlets, you have newsletters, you have websites galore. It's a sucker's game. And the key to being part of the 5 to 10% of successful traders is understanding reality. So, as some of the past speakers have said, when you get into an industry, look at everything. Look at every single aspect of that industry. Be thorough. Be meticulous. Because if you're not, you might miss something, and it's going to cost you money, it's going to cost you time, and you probably will lower your odds of success. I've done that. I've made mistakes too, I have taken $12,000 and turned it into $4 million, but there were bumps along the way. I want to tell you about my biggest loss. I think that's very useful. Cygnus e-Transactions. Who here has heard of that company? Yeah, some of my students. This company cost me $500,000. It was my best friend's dad's company. They basically invented print-at-home ticketing. I thought it was going to be huge back a few years ago. I was wrong. I was dead wrong. The company had all sorts of problems. They turned out to be a penny stock. I don't go looking for penny stocks. They seem to come to me. I invested in this company. I was like, oh, this is a great technology. Then they become a stock on the stock market, and they're a penny stock. I'm like, I'm cursed, I try to get out, and it pulled me back in. Godfather. And I lost a lot of money. And I didn't understand at the time. I was very bitter. I began to drink a lot. It was a nasty time in my life. And I thought, I had had so much success. I was batting 1,000 before Cygnus. And then I lost $500,000. It wasn't all my money. It was like roughly half my money. But when you lose half your money, you lose all your credibility. So it was a tough time. I got ripped by like the New York Post and Gawker. And then because I have, as you might be able to tell, a big mouth, I had been trying to get attention for many years. I was on CNBC, drunk as shit, took a lot of tequila shots because I was so nervous about going on CNBC, and that made me more exciting. A reality show producer saw me on CNBC, and he said, hey, you want to be on this show? And I was like, sure, why not? I was in the dumps. I was like, this can't get any worse. So I had these reality show cameras in my face as I'm drinking, and my hedge fund basically lost 36% in 1 year, which was terrible, but not the end of the world. We still finished up 2% per year, but it was really a big loss for my ego. And again, my credibility got lost. You can still Google this, and you'll see like Tim Sykes lost all his money, and there's rumors of everything. What I didn't understand at the time was that you have to play by some of the rules. As you get experience in whatever field you choose, you will learn rules, discipline. And the only way to learn them is to lose and to break them. At the time, I did not have risk management in place. I knew penny stocks were good. I knew the patterns. I had made a lot of money very quickly, but I didn't understand risk. I didn't understand when to cut losses. And my biggest loss taught me that. So at the time, I was very bitter. Now I'm very thankful, I would never have learned risk management without that big loss, without that really shitty year. And then I got to relive it when the TV show came out, and then it was a hit. Now it's in 20 plus countries. You can watch Wall Street Warriors on Hulu. You can see me be a drunken ass. But still, I look back on it, and I'm very, very thankful for the loss, for being able to come back, for being able to learn, okay, don't invest in family, friends, businesses. They meant well. It's not like they were trying to rip us off. But you can't be biased with your trading or investments. It's so dangerous when you're playing in the stock market or any market with finance, real estate especially too. If you're not 100% meticulous, do more work than anybody else. Stay up multiple nights in a row if you have to. Too many people just throw their money around because it's easy. Thanks to the advent of online discount brokers, you can invest in anything with one click. You see commercials, one click. It's so easy. And guess how those people do? Not so well. The key to being successful is to work harder than other people. Because everybody wants success. Everybody wants the Lamborghini. Everybody wants freedom. But what are you willing to do to get there? That's my question to you. You know, we're here at the most prestigious university in America, Harvard. Fantastic. I'm very honored. Thank you for having me here. The people who have gotten here have worked their butts off to get here. But that's just the beginning. Whether you're in college, or you're going to go to college, or you're out of college, this is a lifelong journey where you have to continually work hard, work harder than other people to get ahead. A lot of people give up at different times. I'm no longer at that stage, you know. When I had my big loss, I basically gave up. For a year, I was in the gutter, but I came back and I said, you know what? This was a mistake that I made investing. It wasn't the patterns. I didn't go against what I had learned to make all my millions before this loss. I invested, and I didn't do my full due diligence, and that was my mistake. I eventually got back into trading. I saw more patterns, and I became the #1 ranked trader at a 50,000 on Covestor in 2007 to 2011. Covestor was a website that, fortunately, when I got started teaching, came around and they verified all my results. So I became this top-ranked trader. Everybody wanted to learn. Because of the success of Wall Street Warriors, I had an audience. I've been very fortunate, you know. I'm like the real-life Forrest Gump. Kind of smarter. But he invested in Apple, though. So long story short, I hope to help you understand that, you know, you can make a lot of money and that you don't need to make $100 million or $1 billion. You don't need to aim that high. You know, I have just a few $1 million in cash in the bank, and I live well. That's all you really need. You don't need to create the next $1 billion company. And I know a lot of you guys want to do that, you know, whether you're coders or traders. Live well, but achieve your goals. Your goals should not just be about money. It should be about helping other people. And that's what I try and do every single day by sharing these stories, by sharing my losses, by sharing my gains, by sharing my freaking pictures of my Lamborghini and how it makes me nauseous. I don't know how you drive it. You know, you have an old one too, right? Do you get nauseous?
No.
And you go 200 miles an hour. I got up to 170 and I was like puking. I don't know how you do it, but I like the Lamborghini. I like the watches, you know. I was going to throw this watch. Josh wants me to throw this watch. I threw the Lamborghini keys. Forget a $30,000 watch. You know, the Lamborghini's a little more. But that was when I was angry. There's a video out there of when I threw my Rolex at my conference last year. That was before I had created any millionaires. I was very angry because every single day, you know, I make videos and I'm like, I want to create a millionaire. I want to create a millionaire. And my haters would email me, still no millionaires. What's going on? Now I got 2 of them. And the haters are, you know, shutting up. So I'm just not that angry. I don't need to throw anything. I just wanted to throw some keys. I don't know. You know, losses, gains, adventures, travel, cars, watches, students. I have a lot of stuff in my life, and I'm thankful for all of it. But hopefully from this whole speech, you understand that you can't take life too seriously. You can't be like, oh my God, I lost $500,000. You know, celebrate the highs. When I made $100,000 in a day, take your dorm room out to Fire and Ice. It's a good restaurant, and it's a good deal. I was a freshman. None of us could drink, so the bill wasn't that bad. Celebrate the highs. Learn to respect the lows. Work your ass off, and live a good life. Thank you. Any questions? Do you have time for 5 minutes?
5 minutes left. We can open it up for 5 more minutes of questions.
Yeah. Any questions?
What would you say is the most important thing that you do to stay disciplined? Because obviously when you're trading, especially with ARTX and BDSI this past week, like you're only doing a couple of trades a week, and those are the awesome ones. You're not over trading at all, which is definitely something that a lot of us struggle with.
Yeah.
Something that a lot of us struggle with.
Yeah.
What is the most important thing you do actively besides learning from actually experiencing a lot?
You know, when I trade, I feel like I'm like a sniper. Like I'm, you know, like Enemy at the Gates, you know, with Jude Law and all those other guys, Ed Harris. Watch that movie. But one shot at a time. I don't like holding a basket of stocks. I know a lot of successful investors, they hold 5, 10, 20 stocks, and they try and win on 70 or 80% of them. I can't do that. I'm too ADD. So when I'm in a stock, I'm watching it every single tick. If it doesn't do exactly what I want, I get out. You know, on VDSI, it did exactly what I wanted, I got out. I underestimated it. I locked in like $7,000, could have been $15,000. No regrets. I went in with a thesis and I got out. So when you're looking at whatever stock, you have to go in with a thesis and watch it like a hawk. That's my style. And if the thesis comes true, then you make a lot of money. If it doesn't, you cut losses quickly. You know, if I'm buying a stock, I bought this company VDSI the other day. They had already reported earnings. They were up 12%. Mobile bill pay, security, wireless, mobile stuff, hot words. But they were already up on the day. And people were like, why are you buying? The earnings are out. The news is out. You know, the stock has already made its move. And I, based on my experience, thought this move has more to go. There's a potential that an analyst will upgrade it overnight, as I oftentimes buy earnings winners after they've made a big move at first, because there's usually continuation. And I thought, you know, it's good risk reward. You always have to think about risk reward when you get into a trade. What is my upside? With VDSI, I thought my upside was to make 70 cents a share. If it didn't break out, if there was no analyst upgrade, then I would lose 10 cents a share. There was 7-to-1 risk reward. That was a good trade. As it turns out, the analyst did upgrade it, and the stock went up $2 a share. I underestimated how far it would go. I took my profits too quickly, but I went in with a thesis, and it worked out. Do that on every single trade. You have to resist the urge to overtrade. You know, some of us are day traders in here. Some of us are in the stock market. Whatever you are in, you have to try and stay disciplined. And I know it's difficult because, you know, you have your money in your accounts. You feel like it's just sitting there and not doing anything. Try and grow your account one trade at a time. See how it goes. I like to think of myself as a retired trader. And I know this is weird as a full-time trader and a trading coach, but by thinking of myself as a retired trader who only comes out of retirement when there's a good trade, only if I'm like, oh my God, I have to trade this, because if I don't, I'm going to regret it. That brings me back into the market, and that's when I usually do well. If I'm just bored and I'm like, I've got nothing to do, there's nothing on TV, let me just bet $100,000 for the action. I know far too many degenerate gamblers who are like that, and that's dangerous. Yeah?
What maybe pushes you over the edge when you start breaking rules like YOD?
So YOD, one of my rules is to never guess on earnings ahead of time. YOD is You On Demand, their app maker for movies on demand in China. And with their previous earnings calls, I know this is getting a little technical for you non-traders, but previously they had always had some kind of nice announcement with earnings. And I was flying at the time, I was traveling, and I was like, you know what, f it. Like, I'm gonna regret this if they announce something big. I put in so much research, so much time into this company that it owes me. And I got in, they didn't announce anything, the stock tanked, and I lost a few $1,000s. And I did a whole video lesson on it. That's the good thing these days, that with my losses, I make a video lesson. I have a video lesson library of now over 1,700 videos, good trades, bad trades, everything. And, you know, I waited for the right stock. Unfortunately, I broke my rules. I went in before earnings. I guessed on news. I don't want to guess on news. That lowers my odds of success. The fact that I'm flying and that I can't even get out of the trade. Actually, they reported earnings and I had a chance to get out, but I was on a flight with no Wi-Fi. So you need to put yourself in a position to make money. If you're traveling, if you don't have Wi-Fi, you're just increasing the risk dramatically. And if you like that increased risk, which some people do because they're degenerate gamblers, that's when the trouble starts. You know, you shouldn't like risk. You shouldn't like that uneasy feeling. Will I make money? Will I not? If you treat trading in the stock market like a business and you're very meticulous, then you will do better. One more?
Last one.
Yep.
So obviously you're really successful now, and you've made millions, but what drives you? What makes you get up every morning or stay up all night to do work?
Yeah, I mean, making 16,000, like I said, on a trade, fantastic. But showing it in a video before I even made the trade, that's fantastic. Because again, I'm trying to change the finance industry, trying to get respect for penny stocks, trying to get respect for my strategy, trying to show that it's possible to create millionaires from scratch, to breed them. This is not an easy task to create a millionaire student. And I love that challenge, you know? For a very long time, I was like, oh my God, is this ever gonna happen? I've been teaching 6 years and no millionaires. Then 2 millionaires within a few weeks of each other because they were gradually growing their account. So I wanna create more millionaires. Now the question isn't, you know, can you create a millionaire? It's how many can you create? How many before people start to say, you know what, Tim's patterns, they might be worth it. They might be worthwhile studying, you know? Watching 1,700 video lessons sounds overwhelming. They're only 5 minutes each. You know, it's 140 hours. That sounds overwhelming to people, but once you see what the students can do with it, you know, looking in Tim Grittani's eyes, Joey, my filmographer, and I, you know, we went out to Ohio to witness Tim Grittani crossing $1 million. And he was so thankful. This is a kid who had $1,500 to his name 3 years earlier. And now he has $1 million. Now he's up to 1.7 million. Seeing how my strategy has changed his life, that's it. I want more of that. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.